There is a deep curiosity among people to know about the exalted masters, the Rishis. People have developed different understandings about them, but there is a need for the young common mind to understand about those who bear a causal existence, Karan Sharir. What is causal existence? In general, we all understand that a human being, a being is the most precise word, has three dimensions of existence, namely the gross, the subtle, and the causal. Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharir. Sharir means something which is not going to stay, which is under transition, under change, prone to change. Causal dimension 2 is an existence prone to change. In the causal existence, the great exalted masters acquire certain powers which are not available to a common human being. They become more pervasive. They acquire their stature to such a perspicacious end that for them the transition into different dimension becomes just a play. Their reach in all aspects acquires magnanimity. They can pervade into the thin air, into the thoughts, become an inspiration, and can motivate and guide people at the thought end. That is thickly speaking about the exalted ones in the causal form. Enough can be shared with the seekers who are interested to know about them in different videos. But here the objective is primarily to understand whom do they contact. And the answer to this question is embedded within the question itself, whom do they contact? Why should they contact someone? The foremost question is, why should an exalted master in the causal dimension contact any common human being, any ordinary human being? What is the purpose? What is the expectation at their end from any human being so that they have a need felt within themselves to communicate, to establish a contact with any ordinary human being? This question bears all the answers. People have curiosity, certainly a deep curiosity, especially those people who somehow develop a spiritual bent of mind based upon either their past journey or in the present life. They all want to come into contact with the exalted beings. But reiterating the question again, why should they establish a contact with anyone? Irrespective that you are a spiritual being with purity at heart, you're a good human being, then but why should they contact? What purpose do they need to accomplish through you? Now this secondary question itself gives an hint to the answer. What purpose do they have to accomplish through you? Are you available with your capacities at hand, in whatever capacity you behold? Are you available to them to serve their cause of common good, Jagat Hitaya Cha? Can you inspire others? Are you the source of positivism? Do you care for the frame of mind for other people? Do you care about the understanding of other people? Are you prepared to accommodate others within the ambit of your own interests? Are you concerned about the goodness in human thoughts? Do you want divinity to pervade in common people? मनुष्य में देवत्व का उदय. Are you holding any kind of interest which serves this purpose, or are you merely confined to your own inner evolution? If you are only confined to your own inner evolution, then there is a cycle for that. You go on working upon yourself through your self-introspection, and with the passage of time, you shall continue to evolve in the cycle of evolution. Nothing shall stop you. But now if you want to exceed more than that, and you want to serve the interest of the common good, especially at the thought level, there are two kinds of areas where a human being can serve the larger good. One is the pain, and another is the upgradation or the evolution at the end of one's thoughts. What we term in Hindi as Pida Nivaran and Patan Nivaran. One who wants to evolve people from several shortcomings, degradation of thoughts, towards higher kinds of thoughts, from lower energies to higher energies. The Brahm Rishis, the exalted ones, are more concerned about the Patan Nivaran. For Pida, there are lot many people who serve the common good out of compassion. They do serve. But about Patan, which is not easy to measure, if you contribute blood units, you know you contributed 2 units of blood that have served the purpose of saving the life of another human being, which is an excellent job for the service of the mankind. On the other hand, if you work for the goodness to prevail among people at the end of thoughts, you cannot measure the outcome, because you are not able to judge how much one has been able to absorb and how much one shall practice goodness in one's own decisions, one's own execute while one executes one's own life. You're not aware about that. So you cannot scale to understand the quantum of the work dispensed at the end of the upgradation of the thoughts towards other people, spread of goodness among other people. How much divinity do they imbibe by your efforts? You will never be able to measure. But that is the exact area where the exalted ones are more interested to work upon, because they know if the thoughts of a human being undergo a change, one becomes more far-sighted, wise, then obviously whatever decisions he or she shall undertake are going to accomplish goodness in longevity. So they are more concerned about those ones who are day in, day out engrossed in spread of goodness at the end of thoughts, divinity at the end of thoughts, purity at the end of thoughts. They are more concerned about them. And that is the plane where they work upon. So if someone is deeply interested, truly interested, not to get merely swayed by certain aspect which only ignite curiosity and nothing beyond curiosity, kautuk, matra kautuk. No, if you really want to go beyond curiosity, then in that case you must understand what purpose do you serve that will feel those exalted masters to have accomplished. And they will accomplish only when you become the source to serve the goodness at the end of the thoughts of the people. You can impress upon the thought patterns, negativism, or any evil that spreads as a trend in the society and then prompts people to act out of their instinctive impulse and take wrong decisions and then spread evil all around, is again at the end of the thoughts. And if you are there to counter such negativism by your efforts to spread positivism at the end of thoughts of the people, by any of the efforts that you undertake, by making people meditate, by inspiring people, irrespective of the concern that how much would they turn up, how much would they value. But as a source, if day in, day out, like a banyan tree, people tree, you go on spreading oxygen, then you are the one who shall be sooner or later spotted by those exalted beings who exist and prevail in their causal body, because you are now eligible as the direct recipient of their proximity. उनके सानिध्य के अब तुम अधिकारी बन गए. And is there any other purpose which they can accomplish through you? Maybe, but to my limited understanding, so far, having spent so much of age and having observed so many aspects about the subtle and the causal dimensions, as heard, as read, as experienced, I perceive at the depths of my own existence that nothing else except the spread of goodness, spread of positivism, inspiration, divinity in thoughts makes one eligible to gain the proximity of the exalted ones. Okay, for instance, if I start practicing something like that in whatever manner within my own capacities, how would I know that I have gained the proximity of those exalted ones who prevail in the causal dimension? Well, this question is very valid and shall always prevail in the minds of those people who really want something to authenticate, something to validate that yes, they have come to contact you. What is that? Well, I can recall out of my own experience, and I can also give you the experiences of many more seekers that have come into my contact for the purpose of their own understanding and some kind of an endorsement. You do feel the proximity which is undeniable. Initially, when the proximity of any causal being close by you is felt, it is felt in the form of some kind of an apprehension or a doubt. You may doubt. You may say, I felt something like that, but I'm not sure. I cannot say 100% that was there someone who was there beside me or not. I cannot say that. But it was so that I felt someone beside me during those moments. Initially it will be so. But with the passage of time, if you sustain your efforts, then their proximity and the observations within your depths shall become more tangible. Tangible to the extent that the Prithvi Tattva, which is your nose, you can gather different kind of beautiful fragrances of different kinds, which are undeniable. You cannot say that I merely was under some spell. Was it some self-initiated deception to my own self, or was it something like that? Truly, I tried to smell again. It was the same fragrance. I questioned myself at that, though during those moments, is it my doubt, or is it truly something which is prevailing over here? And it was so. I authenticated it by projecting questions and doubts to my own experience. But it was so. I truly experienced some beautiful fragrance prevailing during those moments. I cannot deny that. Yes, it was so with me, undeniable. Then you may also experience their presence in the form of another being, if not visible to your naked eye. But you cannot deny that there is no other existence beside you. Something which at your depths is undeniable. You can certainly, the doubt-prone mind is always vulnerable to something that pops up out of the negativity, questioning you, yourself. Am I experiencing? Am I not? But when it exceeds the levels of the doubt, ambiguity, then you convey to yourself, no, there is something. Initially, yes, the fear is the foremost that comes in, that seeps into you, but then you reject your own fears because those soothing vibrations which are very divine, they come to you as a handler, as a soothing effect. They pour down into you a lot of confidence and energy that undeniably then you say to yourself that there is a subtle, a causal presence of a being beside me. Apart from that, then there are other endorsements which you feel at the depths of your understanding that we term as bodha. You start gathering different kind of bodha. Those bodha appears to be the product of your mind initially. You do think that probably it is the product of my own brain. It is not something which has come to me as a divine intuit, as an intuit which has been shared with me by some exalted being. Yes, you do question yourself, but then when you see the actualization of those intuits in your own real life, then their endorsement, their fructification in realism then conveys you that no, there is no reason for me to doubt, to project any ambiguity. It is so. I am now the recipient of those divine intuits, those inspirations coming down to me from some higher plane of existence, a causal dimension, and that endorsement is undeniable. And then you start also finding certain incidents that transpire in your own life, which are no accidents, which appear to be very well organized, pre-arranged incidents that start happening to you through different sources. There may be certain objects that come and interact with you, maybe certain people that come and interact with you, certain situations that surmount and appear before you. Then the only thing you are left to work at your end as a homework is to connect the dots and enjoy the beatitude of the divine connivance which is conspiring all around you to help you to work and further your objective to ensure that you become a better source, a better lighthouse to inspire people more and more, to become more pure, to become more disciplined in life. Purity and discipline are the foremost pillars for spiritual evolution for any seeker. Then you become the source who would dispel any kind of doubt, who would dispel any kind of blindfoldedness, who would dispel any reason that creates fear among people. And you yourself then become a lighthouse. I think lighthouse is the smaller word. You become a sun, and your own effulgence is enough for people to get a lot of radiance whereby they can guide the solutions to their own problems in life. We all move in problems. The seekers have their own kind of problems. Even the exalted ones have their own kind of problem, but they have the solutions which are available to them. One who's connected with the causal ones will also be having the similar set of problems, but at the same time shall also be open to that cosmic mind which is under the resolve to serve such beings who are in service to their cause. You have to become the servant to their cause. Once you become the servant to their cause, spreading positivism, inspiration, discipline, purity, then you shall start feeling their proximity very frequently in your life, and which shall be undeniable. And these are not merely words. This is no rhetoric mentioning. This is not merely for the sake of recording a video. No, it is not. It is not so. It is something which anyone can experience. One who beholds the eligibility shall be the recipient, the beneficiary of such experiences and such proximity of that pure divine dimension. Why to say that they have any bias? They have no bias. Their bias is towards eligibility. You develop that particular eligibility and they hold the bias towards you. They are not there for chosen few. They are there for anyone who beholds that eligibility, who struggles and slogs to ensure that by any chance one shall not compromise one's own inner purity and discipline, shall comply to it at any cost while serving all mendations of their own ordinary life. All mendations, समस्त जीवन के निर्धारित दायित्व पूर्ति करते हुए अपने आध्यात्मिक उत्कर्ष के लिए जो भी अनुशासन और पवित्रता का दामन थामे रहेगा वो अधिकारी होगा उनकी अनुकंपा, उनके सानिध्य का. And whatever has been mentioned is not merely words. Having my own limitations to exceed, whereafter I cannot go on to give any further endorsements, I confine my words for this particular expression to this moment. Having said so, on the laps of the Ganges in deeper Himalayas, somewhere above Uttarkashi, these words are being shared to you in these winters. There is the sound of Ma Ganga all around me. Yes. We shall share later what all we do. Enough for the day. I confine my words over here. ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है.